After the Supreme Court struck down the EPA decision, some states are now shifting to wind and solar energy. While the renewable energy is not yet ready to meet demands, parts of the country may be seeing blackouts this summer. And some prospects that energy price hikes could be as high as 233%. Our next guest writes, the court did not rule in favor of pollution. It ruled for democracy, calling on you and other members of Congress to roll up your sleeves and do your jobs, adding that energy policy decisions should be made by the people's elected representatives who have to balance climate and cost. Former Lieutenant Governor of New York and New York Post columnist Betsy McCaughey joins us right now. That was your column, Betsy. It always struck me odd that the EPA had so much power, being part of the executive branch, to just kind of create laws and regulations without any oversight to speak of. And essentially the Supreme Court said, no, it's not that simple. You actually have to write laws.
Well, that's right. And Congress writes the laws,
right,
not a federal agency whose bureaucrats are appointed. They're not accountable to the people in any way. And that's really the essence of this decision. The court ruled very clearly, not for coal plants and not for pollution, but for democracy, saying the EPA's powers are limited by what Congress gave them when it wrote the law creating the agency. And so if the EPA wants to do what it's currently trying to do, which is to literally close all coal plants around the country and move energy in all those states to renewables like solar or wind, or in some cases natural gas, then you'll have to ask the people whether they agree to that. And here's the reason. There's a cost involved in going green. You won't hear the politicians level with the public about that, but there's a cost. And the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission issued a report just recently saying because states are moving out of coal into these other energy vehicles so fast before they're really ready, right, there's going to be a shortfall, especially during heat waves that might cause blackouts. And in some states, FERC predicts price hikes as much as 233%. Imagine opening your electric bill and seeing that it's tripled, right?
Right.
So the fact is the public has to be asked, how much do you want to leave fossil fuels behind for other sources of energy? And how fast do you want to do it? And how much more are you willing to pay on your electric bill?
How do you think this works, Betsy? Because I'm not clear myself. When you get Congress to write laws, now whether that's a Republican Congress or a Democratic Congress saying these are the rules that we want, how much interaction? Because in the past they just say, okay, EPA, take it over from here.
Or any other agency.
Right. So now there's going to have to be involvement.
That's right. And I'll give you an example. Recently, the Supreme Court struck down a rule issued by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, calling for an eviction moratorium. Landlords couldn't collect rent anymore. Well, that's certainly not within the purview of the CDC, according to what Congress created.
Right.
And similarly, OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration, got slapped down by the Supreme Court when it tried to require employers to require all their employees to have a vaccine. Not within the purview of OSHA.
Yeah.
And, you know, this ruling is really important for the future. What if the FDA decided to outlaw all high-calorie snacks, like my favorite, potato chips, in order to curb obesity? You think they ought to be able to do that without the approval of the public?
Right.
Heck no.
Right. Yeah. Betsy, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Always talking to you is a pleasure, Bob.
All right.